What a video to end the year with. So for those not in the know, because this is a new story, MistressDove, a friend of mine here on YouTube, she has appeared in one of my videos, the one on fighting game stories, moments that matter to us. She did the segment on Rambo's ending in MK11, you know, that really good writing, never thought about it that way. She did that part. And, you know, I've shouted her out once or twice elsewhere, and I even have cameoed on her channel at least once, in a video that you can no longer watch because her entire channel has been taken down by YouTube. Now, was this over copyright reasons? No. Was this over, perhaps, some controversy, something she'd been embroiled in? No. It's due to scam and spam and deceptive stuff. If you're familiar with her channel, you've seen that that makes no sense. There is nothing deceptive or scammy or spammy about her content. She makes long-form video essays about video games, niche ones at that. So what gives? Somehow she's had her entire channel taken down because of some reports. And YouTube, in typical YouTube fashion, because their system is broken and awful and genuinely should be illegal because it's messing with people's livelihood, it doesn't force them to actually give an explanation. They can just terminate the channel and not give an explanation at all. Just go, oh, it violated our policies. Which policies, YouTube? In what way was her content spammy or scammy or deceptive? Which video in particular? Was there a particular moment in one of them that you can point to? You know, it took so long for the copyright system to finally get updated to where it would go, yeah, this is where the issue is. So why does this system not get updated the same way? Why can't we have someone be forced to actually give an explanation? And I'm sure there are lots of videos, thousands daily, getting flagged for various reasons. But it's still unacceptable that no actual human being has looked at this situation and said, well, this is the reason why. This is what has been done wrong. And it's baffling. It's not even just one video, right? It's not just a video has been taken down for this clearly bullshit reason. No, it's the entire channel. Dove has actually gotten in contact with Team YouTube on Twitter, you know, the more competent YouTube people, because the actual website people, they don't care, they don't do anything. Whereas Team YouTube, generally speaking, they don't have a great track record, but they have the best one when it comes to YouTube support, because it seems like some people there do usually care. But all they did was say, yeah, it violated the thing, and the channel's gone. Very clearly, you can't even dispute this. No human being has looked at this situation to actually verify whether these claims were true or not, because they're blatantly not. It doesn't take more than a few minutes to look at Dove's channel, just look through one of her videos and go, okay, clearly this is just someone who makes videos about video games. That's it. And so this brings us to the speculation part. The unfortunate speculation part, because if you're familiar with Dove, I'm sure you can tell exactly where this is going. MistressDove is a trans woman. Now, I'm not going to accuse YouTube of transphobia. I don't think that was the reason why this happened on their part. But in the absence of any other explanation, what conclusion can we come to other than people who dislike trans people have been flagging Dove's content for these deceptive, scammy reasons, you know, the kind of language that someone who hates trans people might use? And again, I'm not going to accuse YouTube of transphobia. I don't think that's the reason for them. What I think happened, and I've seen a couple other people come to the same conclusion, because in the absence of any other explanation from YouTube, what else are we supposed to conclude? The only explanation that makes sense is some people who hate her for being trans, or maybe because they're petty children who don't like different opinions. You know, maybe they really just dislike Kyrie from Kingdom Hearts and thought, this person likes her, I'm going to flag them. Less likely than just being a transphobe and doing that. And then YouTube took their word for it. No proof, nothing like that. I'm pretty sure with the system you're supposed to actually give an example video, and yet no human being looked at this video and said, no, that's clearly not true. You know, maybe we should have someone who actually looks into these things. I know it's going to be it's a lot of people to do that because of how many would obviously come in. But I'm pretty sure Google has the money to hire more people to look over these videos and go, yeah, this is legit or this is not. Google should be hiring more people to look into these things to make it the place an actual safe space to create for the content creators, the people who bring them in money. Now, I know Dove wasn't actually monetized yet. She was very close though. Right as it was about to happen, it was so close. Then this happens, and YouTube says, no, that's fine. Why isn't YouTube supporting their creators and saying, yeah, we'll have someone look into this just to verify that these claims are true before, you know, terminating someone's channel, someone's livelihood or chance at livelihood? Like, this is just disgusting. YouTube needs to change. This is the thing, is because there's no actual major competition, YouTube grows complacent. In order for any product to be any good, you need to have competition. And because YouTube doesn't have any, they just go, yeah, we can just do whatever we want. It's fine. We don't need to actually explain why someone's effectively been fired, right? When you terminate a channel, you're effectively firing that person. They're not an actual employee, but that's what you're effectively doing. And, you know, maybe if this had been one of the bigger creators, YouTube might have gone, oh, we need to look into this so we don't lose out on millions of dollars from these big creators who actually do scam their audiences explicitly, sell influencer courses and dog shit merch and all this shit, and just lie blatantly and spread misinformation. You know, people like that are allowed to just flourish on this website, while someone who just talks about video games isn't given a second look because she only has like 2,000 subscribers. We need to really get on YouTube and tell them that this is not acceptable. This has to stop. I guarantee what Google is going to do is they're going to go, oh yes, we are going to implement a system where someone will look over it and it's going to be AI. And they'll think that's acceptable. That's going to be flawed as well. It's going to be another horrendous system. Maybe a bit better than what we've got now, which is, you know, literally nothing. So I encourage you all to get on Team YouTube on Twitter, because I feel like at this point that's the only people at YouTube who might actually try and step in to do something. So far they've not, but maybe if enough people say, hey, fix this, maybe they will. Right after Christmas. This happened right after Christmas, and YouTube had no system in place to go, yeah, you know, maybe we should look into this before terminating a channel and crushing someone's hopes for the new year. Thanks, YouTube. You're so good. You're so helpful to your community. It's such a safe place for creators. Oh, working on this site, it's a dream. Do something about this. At the very least, have someone look over the content and tell Dove what she did wrong. You know, which was obviously nothing. YouTube just has a horrendous, broken system, easily exploitable by the worst kinds of people who are just petty and vindictive over different kinds of people existing. And YouTube just has nothing in place to stop those people from succeeding. So now, since YouTube doesn't see the point in actually supporting its creators, I'm going to showcase what some of Dove's content was like by showing the Rambo segment that I mentioned before. Because, you know, with the whole channel being taken down, not just a video, but the whole channel, I can't access any of her old content. Thanks, YouTube.
Fighting games are cool. Fighting game stories are also cool. Even when they're goofy-ass soap operas like whatever the fuck Tekken's doing. But one thing I feel is underappreciated in regards to fighting game writing, even more so than fighting game writing in general, is the art of the arcade ending. The concept is simple. Every character has an ending at the end of a run in a game's arcade mode. These endings are, usually, not canon, but they give us glimpses into the individual characters that the ending is focused on. Anyone who follows Snake's stuff knows this. He's absolutely most definitely 100% talked about this kind of thing before in his various MK videos that upset people, for some reason. Some games have had a lot of fun with their arcade endings, like MVC3, which has a gaggle of humorous endings based purely on playing with these characters that they have on offer. Like She-Hulk, the baddie she is, striking fear in the hearts of Phoenix and Edgeworth from Ace Attorney to play into Jin's profession as a lawyer. I actually think crossovers are very underrated when it comes to the discussion of writing, especially with fighting games. The potential that comes from putting these characters in new environments to interact with characters they'd never meet otherwise, or scenarios they'd never encounter in their own canons. It's part of why people really like the Subspace Emissary from Brawl, and why they were equally as disappointed to see it missing from following Smash games. Because seeing these characters interact in a new story was, and still is, very cool. This leads into the next section, i.e. the part that I'm talking about. And the irony is that it's not even from a game I like. Mortal Kombat 11 is, far and away, the worst NRS MK game, if you ask me. But it has the best guest fighter roster as long as you forget Joker's there. The arcade endings all see the player's chosen character getting ownership of the hourglass and thus power over all of time. This leads to some pretty good endings with the base roster, like Kano getting the hourglass and initially creating a timeline with said hourglass where he has all he ever could want. And then he gets bored with that and just starts creating new timelines where he has to struggle and fight for his goals, which, spoilers, leads into Snowblind, the best animated MK movie if you ask me. And no, I haven't seen Cage Match, so can't really speak on that one. It might be better though. But I'm not talking about any of those. I'm talking about the guest characters, which is why I brought them up earlier. And specifically, I'm talking about John Rambo. His ending is honestly brilliant, with Rambo gaining the power of the hourglass. He originally considers righting the wrongs of the world, of history, of everything, before he then realizes that deciding who lives and dies, controlling everyone's fate for all of eternity, it wasn't right, and it wasn't right for him either. It would destroy his soul, as he puts it. He states that, in his mind, it'd make him no better than the old men who sent him and the others to war without any regard for what would happen to any of them. So, what does he do? Well, the most in-character thing that John Rambo could do. He gives it up. He makes the choice to walk away, not just from the power, but from fighting as well, stating that after all he's been through, all that pain and suffering and anguish and violence, he's earned peace. And he's absolutely right. I'm honestly floored how MK11, of all things, has a better understanding of what the original Rambo and its titular protagonist were all about than, like, all of the Rambo sequels. He's a victim of war, someone who was sent to fight in a war for other people's benefit without ever actually believing in that war, only to return to a world that just did not care about him or people like him. Just like the uncaring pricks who sent them to fight in the first place. This ending shows an excellent understanding of that original source material, something I doubt many people would expect from the Smash Bros. If your dad picks the fighters that is Mortal Kombat 11. It's also such a, honestly, kind of touching ending, especially since so many of the other characters actually do take advantage of the power and use it for their own desires, good intentioned or not. So to have an ending where a character decides not to do that says a lot about the character in question. Anyway, I'm pretty sure I've used up my time limit at this point, so sorry if I ran a bit long. You should see the videos on my channel. Running on for a bit long is what I do for a living.
Damn, that was so deceptive and scammy and spammy. Holy shit. Yo, this person needs to be terminated. Her socials are all in the description. Go support her if you can, because God knows YouTube won't.